Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is another day, another DIY wrap day. So I'm here at the shop about to go inside and start wrapping. I feel like I should start with the back today. Wrap the back bumper, the trunk, and then the next weekend I'm gonna try to do quarter panels and doors. So today, after, if I'm able to finish all that, I might do like the top two pillars, or I might do the front. I'm gonna decide later, and right now I'm also thinking of like painting some of the things, like painting calipers and whatnot. So I don't know when I'm gonna do that. Maybe tomorrow or today, we'll see. But this is the plan for this week, and hopefully we can finish a lot of things today, because tomorrow I don't have that much time, only like half of the day, and then I'm leaving. So with that said, let's start with it. So we first start with the bottom part of the trunk, and I just went over it with a heat gun because it was cold in the shop, and I just wanted it to be kind of warm so the vinyl lays better. And once I heated it up pretty well, then we just took a pre-cut that we did of the vinyl. We put the magnets on one side and started peeling the other side, and just basically laid the whole piece. And I started going over from one side to the other with the squeegee, and it was pretty much easy to do. It was a small piece, really everything was straight, nothing curvy or anything like that, so it ended up being pretty nice, and it only took us like 30 minutes, if not less. So then I made a cut where the bolts are, or the holes for the bolts where the plate goes. Just made a small cut and just laid it flat there so it doesn't, because it was pretty much stretchy over there and there was a lot of tension going on. So I just made a cut and released all that air from there. Once everything was done, I just started cutting the corners just to make it tuck better and have a nice look to it on the corners, because I have the extra seal that I have installed everywhere on my car, and with that it's just a little bit harder to tuck in on the corners. So I cut pretty much a little bit small, like just a little bit of the material left on the corners. That way I can kind of tuck it into the seal to make it hold pretty nicely. Otherwise, that probably would have made it a little bit longer than what I made it to be. So once we finished the first piece, then we went to the top and started laying another piece on top, up to the point where the spoiler is installed usually. And I put a knifeless tape on there, just a straight line all the way around, just to make sure that's where I end the line of the vinyl, and that's where I'm gonna put the spoiler to make it nice and flush so no one really sees the cut there. Then we just laid the piece. It was pretty easy, just went all over it. It was also straight, and it took us like 20 minutes probably for this one as well. And just use some heat gun on the corners just to make it nice, because on some part it was a little bit stretched already, so I had to use a heat gun to make it lay nicer without any stretch marks or anything like that. And then pretty much also did the same thing on the top, where the knifeless tape is. Just laid it nicely and then started peeling off the tape, and it was a nice cut there as well. So after I cut everything, like all the edges, and tucked them in as well, we started laying the top part of the trunk. As you guys can see, we kind of just laid it down pretty nice and flat, and then I just went all the way around, cutting the extra excess material that I had left, and also just tucking everything else inside. Once that was done, it was a pretty fast piece as well. Everything came out to a couple of hours for the whole trunk. It was super fast, but
we just did some extra stuff as well that day, so didn't really want to do anything else. Like I really wanted to do the bumper, but my dad thought it would take a long time, so we didn't like start with it, and we just did other small pieces just to kind of keep it more productive. So here, as you can see, we removed the spoiler, then we removed everything, all the double-sided tape on it. Mostly my dad did it because it was kind of hard, and while he was doing it, I was applying more vinyl onto the car. So once we did all that, then we put some more double-sided tape. I used Gorilla double-sided tape this time. Put it all the way around the spoiler, and we lined it up. Made it nice and tuck, and the alignment was pretty nice, and everything looks really nice and flush. And you can't really see the cut where I had the inlays. And here you guys can see how the trunk came out with the spoiler installed. It looked pretty nice, but honestly it was kind of missing something because it was just one piece and everything else was still black, so it didn't really look that great. But once I finished the whole car, then it definitely looks a lot better. So after we finished that, I started tinting with a spray can. I started tinting the side reflectors by the taillights. This thing is turning out pretty good. This is the third coat, and I'm gonna now move to the other side. So I sprayed it once, then second time, then the third time, and kind of went to the other side just to kind of keep it consistent and black and similar looking as well. So now we're doing the bumper reflectors. So I decided to also tint the reflectors on the bumper, so kind of did the same thing on the reflectors. Went over them 3 times, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe it was 3 times on each one. I'm just doing light layers so they stack together and it's gonna be pretty dark. So just the same way I did on the top reflectors. And now I'm doing the same thing here, but here I'm doing it left and right, so it's kind of like a double light layer. So it should be looking pretty decent. And if I don't like how it looks, I'm gonna add like one more, something like that. We'll see though. It looks dark and pretty even, so I'm gonna show you guys once I take the tape off. As you guys can see, or actually you can't see, these things are just blacked out. Same on this side. Just fully black. It looks pretty good. Pretty decent look, especially if the whole car is wrapped. Like the rear bumper, the quarter panels, these are gonna pop a lot more. So it's gonna look fire.